Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Left 4 Dead 2 Myth Busting Mondays. And in today's video for the final myth, we're going to be testing to see if whether or not that if you can shoot a grenade launcher at your feet as you're falling off of a high surface and save yourself from dying to fall damage. So that's what we're going to be testing here at the end of the episode. If you guys end up enjoying today's episode, please drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and if you have a myth of your own that you would like to have us test in next week's episode, please by all means leave them here in the comments down below. Or also alternatively, you can leave them within my Discord server, which will be linked down below in this video's description. With all that being said, guys, I hope you end up enjoying this week's episode of Left 4 Dead 2 Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: if a special infected stands next to the plane door on Swamp Fever, when the door shoots off, will it hurt the special infected? I also want to say, as we're starting Myth 1, shoutouts to Dan, by the way, or Dr. Zed, once again, because he helped get all the gameplay footage for this week's episode, just like how he did for last week's episode, because right now, as of the publishing of this video, I'm currently in California. So, I appreciate you, Dan, thank you. So, we're testing out myth number 1 here any second. Basically, Dan's just going to stand in front of the plane door while a bot ends up opening it. And as you guys can see, it does nothing to Dan. He only gets damaged the moment that the bots actually start shooting him with their bullet guns, meaning that myth number 1 is busted. If you're a special infected and you stand outside the door, if it explodes at you, it's not going to hurt you. Myth: can the charger temporarily fly if he sprints up a ramp? So here we go with myth number 2. Dan is loaded up into hard rain, and he's going to use this slanted fence to end up testing out this myth. And as you guys can see, when he goes up the ramp, almost immediately his feet touch the ground again. I was hoping that he would end up kind of floating, not necessarily flying, like literally flying, but just kind of glide a little bit. But instead of getting enough air, he just immediately just touches the ground again. So unfortunately the myth is busted. The charger will not be able to temporarily fly if he sprints up a ramp. Myth: does it take longer to kill a special infected if you shoot a bullet gun underwater? So before we shoot a special infected under the water, we need to have a control so that way we know what we're working with. So Dan is going to shoot a smoker with a magnum, it looks like, and just count how many bullets it takes to kill him while on land. So it looks like that the amount of bullets that it takes to kill a smoker on land, it ranges anywhere between 3 bullets or 4 bullets. I'm assuming this is just because he's occasionally getting a headshot, which changes the damage multiplier. Now with Dan fully sticking his head under the water, let's see how many bullets it takes this time. So far it has taken 3 shots to kill that particular smoker, which is along the same lines of what it did on land. But we are going to do this at least more than once just to double check, make sure it's not a fluke. So let's spawn in another smoker and see what happens with this one. So we got 1, 2, and 3 again. Okay, so it seems pretty consistent. But let's just do one more just to make sure. So here we go, 1, 2, and 3. And once again is 3 bullets. So we saw an example where the smoker took 3 bullets to die the magnum on land, and we also saw it in the water example. So I'm going to say that the myth is busted. It really doesn't seem that the water has any impact on the bullets, similar to how we tried to see if whether or not melee weapons were slower underwater, and we found out that that was busted a while back as well. Myth: if you upset the witch and then hang on a ledge, will she lose track of you? Alright guys, so Dan is loaded up in here in the Swamp Fever campaign. He's going to spawn in a witch any second, and then he's going to walk his way into the swamp, so that way he's technically hanging on a ledge. So Dan has pissed off the witch, and the witch is standing there? Okay, well that's weird, and never mind, she's attacking him. Okay, now this throws a monkey wrench into our plans because we were purposely trying to get a specific result, believe it or not. When we were trying to come up with myth ideas for this pre-recorded episode for my California trip, we got inspiration from this YouTube short by Scat the Man. Take a look.
In Left 4 Dead 2, if you startle a witch, cling onto a ledge because that will make her ignore you and most importantly your teammates so they are able to kill her then revive you, leaving you unscathed.
From both Dan and I's understanding of this video, we basically did everything correct. Now, although it's not the exact same location, but it should still have worked. So what we'll do is we'll call it plausible for now, because I think it just varies on the circumstance. If anybody would like to please clarify in the comments of what we may or may not be doing wrong, we would really appreciate it because we're not necessarily sure if this is a luck thing or a technique thing. Alright guys, now let's hop over to the final myth and see if whether or not that if we shoot a grenade launcher at our feet while we're falling from the sky, can we save ourselves from dying to fall damage? Let's take a look. Myth: can you shoot a grenade launcher at the ground while you're falling to save yourself from death? Alright guys, it's time for the final myth. Let's head over to one of the ledges here on NSenr's finale and end up jumping off of it and see if whether or not the grenade launcher can save us from death. Similar to how a frag round shotgun can if you shoot it at the correct time. So Dan is right here near the ledge where I expected him to be, and he's going to break the glass really quickly just so that way he has a clear landing. So let's go, 3, 2, 1. And Dan broke his legs. Okay, so the myth is busted. A little anticlimactic there, but at least now we know our answer, that the grenade launcher doesn't work the same way as a frag round shotgun. Alright guys, but that's going to be here for today's video, and I do truly hope you guys ended up enjoying it. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, follow, and all that beautiful stuff. And shoutouts to Dan once again for getting all the footage for this week's episode. Just like last week, I tremendously appreciate you, my friend. And guys, if you end up having a myth of your very own that you would like to have us test in next week's episode, please by all means leave it here in the comments down below, or also alternatively, you can leave it within my Discord server, which is going to be linked down below in this video's description. With all that being said, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTuber they're ever going to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I love all of you, and peace out.
Hey meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!